That, of course, is Mr. Van Morrison. And I know he's not a nice person. I know that. I'm aware of that. I mean, I don't know how not nice of a person he... No, I think I do know. I think he's probably not a very nice person. But, and I also know this is a brand new song, by the way. Brand new release, last couple of weeks. And, you know, I also know that it doesn't really break new ground musically. But there's also what we call the Slattery rule on this show. It's named after the culture thinker Brian Francis Slattery. And the rule is this: if you're going to cancel somebody, you have to weigh what they did against what you would lose, what you would give up by canceling them. And I think for that reason, we can't cancel Van Morrison. I personally refuse to cancel Van Morrison. Because, I mean, I think just giving up his work would... I'm not even 100% sure I understand every bad thing he's done. But I'm just not willing to make that deal. And I think the Slattery rule is a good one. I think it's here to help us. All right, so this is the Colin McEnroe Show. This is Ask or Tell Me Anything. The number to call, and you can call up about anything. It need not amount to a hill of beans. It can, though. I mean, we don't require that it fall below a hill of beans level. It's not like one of those rides that you have to, be measured before you go on it. It's nothing like one of those. It's nothing like one of those rides. So 888-720-9677. You call up about anything. I mean, and it's a beautiful day out there. We have a 9-state measles outbreak, and we're in a trade war, and we've forsaken one of our allies. And there's a State of the Union address tonight. But it's fine. It's good. It's fine. Everybody should just calm down. All right, so just to illustrate how this works, you call 888-720-9677, otherwise known as 888-720-WNPR, and you will be greeted by Meg Fitz, who I think you will find it is a pleasure to be greeted by whom it is a pleasure to be greeted, and then you will talk to me. Unless you in some way alarm Meg Fitz. So someone has done this, and we're going to illustrate how well it works. This is David from Wyndham. Hello, David from Wyndham.
Hello, Colin from wherever you're from.
Wherever I am, yes.
Wherever you are. I'm calling about booze.
Okay.
And
you mean you're not alcohol. You don't mean alcohol. You mean the BOOS, booze.
The BOOS, that's right. Have you ever booed anyone?
Have I ever booed in? I'm sure that I have. I don't have like a really vivid memory of it. I'm not much of a booer. I'm a social booer. Like on the weekend maybe I'll boo, but yeah, no, I don't. It's not really a big thing for me one way or the other. But
I've been booing a lot more lately, honestly, and usually I'm just sitting in my living room booing at the television. But one time when I was at Gathering of the Vibes, which is like a very long festival, a musical.
You didn't like boo. You didn't like boo Fish or something, did you? Because that,
No, I would have been probably, duded to death. It was a group that came on, and they were just awful. And I wasn't the only one saying this. The group of people that I was with, and I just kind of perked my head up out of our blanket, and I said, "Boo!" And all of a sudden, the entire place erupted in boos, and the act was shuffled off the stage.
Yeah.
And
so you were like you were the boo ignition. You were the flame that touched the boo lighter fluid.
Yes, because you can't escape the music at a concert. It's very difficult. And if it's terrible music, what are you going to do? So
did they, wait a minute, did they actually leave the stage because they were getting booed so much?
Yes.
Do you feel any remorse about this, or are you just...
Zero. So that is my proposal for tonight.
Yes.
I feel like the Democratic Party, and I wish that Chris Murphy, I hope he's listening, and maybe he can change his mind and go to this, whatever it is, fiasco, fantastic, and create such an enormous disturbance by booing this guy whenever he says something horrible that eventually he just leaves.
Well, one person who will be very happy, sort of, if that happens, uncharacteristically, will be senior producer Lily Tyson, because we're working on a show for Thursday, and I think I'm stating the ethos of this episode correctly about the way in which the WWE has become increasingly relevant and how it has infused, sometimes in the person of Linda McMahon, sometimes in the concept of kayfabe, it has infused our public life and our public debate. And so, if Trump gets booed tonight, that will be very WWE. And
Jon Stewart did a whole thing about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you,
One reason we get started. Actually, he did it. Like last night, I think. But he also he was on the Ezra Klein podcast, and it turns out they're both wrestling fans. I mean, the idea that Ezra Klein is a WWE, pro wrestling fan is really hard for me to process. But apparently they both are, and they started talking about kayfabe, and we got interested. I got interested, and so. But I think the reason to boo is because presumably the effort that's being made is to keep him by his staff, is to keep him on the teleprompter. I mean, they got the State of the Union address from Putin. They've translated it out of Russian into English. They put it in the teleprompter, and then they want him to do it, because when he goes off script, he starts yelling about Hannibal Lecter and stuff. So, if he gets booed, he's going to go off script. I mean, he doesn't have that kind of discipline, and he's going to start, it's going to be like Psycho or something, screaming about his mother and stuff.
And there's no remedy for it. I think that, maybe the Speaker of the House could call the Sergeant at Arms and try to remove the Democratic Party en masse, but I don't think he'll be able to.
Yeah, I don't think.
I just think that it's got to be. Look, they have created chaos. We need to create chaos for them.
Well, ordinarily I would be the person advising against this, but I think also it's going to do wonders for the State of the Union address ratings, because all of us are thinking about this right now, right? Are they going to boo? How bad is it going to get? Is it going to turn into a total poop show? Are we going to have, they're going to pick people hitting each other with folding chairs? Sotomayor like hitting Thomas with a folding chair.
The chairs are soldered to the ground.
I think if they're smart, everything is going to be soldered to the ground. Nothing that could be used as a missile.
I would be worried that they throw eggs, but they're so expensive. They probably.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely not. That is so over. Egg throwing. We got a lot of use out of it. It's so over. Well, David, I think you would be a lot of fun to watch the State of the Union address with, and I think you've also gotten us off to a wonderful start. And we're going to just keep going here. It's Ask or Tell Me Anything. 888-720-9677, 888-720-WNPR. I should tell you, it's not relevant, really, if you're listening on the radio right now, or perhaps you have found the podcast. It's in the future now. If you're listening to the podcast, it's in the future. You're in the future right now. I am in one time, and you are in a future time. So you probably know whether they booed. But in any case, none of that's relevant. If you are listening, you are having a purely audio experience. But you should know that there are some people, like 3, maybe 4, who are watching this on YouTube right now, because we are live streaming Ask or Tell Me Anything on YouTube for the foreseeable future. Fortunately, very little of the future is foreseeable. So this could be a one-time thing if it's relying on the foreseeable future. It could go away very fast. All right, let's go right down the line. Oh, Molly is calling from Barkhamsted, which is the home, the birthplace, the native land of Lily Tyson, our senior producer, who has a very thick Barkhamsted accent and is sometimes rather difficult to understand. Molly, I hope I don't have that problem with you.
No, you won't. I'm an interloper. I've only lived here a short period of time.
Okay, let me just test you. Say the word mountain.
Mountain?
You got a little bit of one.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's because it's like mountain. That's how they say it. Mountain. It's the problem is that there's so many sheep there that people start going man. Anyway, go ahead. You have the floor, Molly. I am getting in your way.
Thank you. I called to wish you a happy Mardi Gras.
Is that one? Does one say that? Happy Mardi Gras?
Oh yeah.
Joyeux.
If you've ever lived in New Orleans, you're thinking about Mardi Gras.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. And we used to, Jeff Cohen used to be here. He would know exactly. But I feel like you should say Joyeux Mardi Gras or something. Share.
Oh.
I don't know either. I don't. We're both rookies here. But yes, do you plan to observe Mardi Gras? And I think Mardi Gras and the State of the Union address and the trade war and the measles outbreak, it's just too much on one day, really. And all of it seems to require a lot of drinking to get through it. But are you observing Mardi Gras in any particular way?
Just in my own peculiar, idiosyncratic way.
That is I won't pry.
Which is the way I celebrate most days.
Yeah, I won't pry. I won't pry into that. That's your business.
All right.
But thank you very, very much for the greeting. We appreciate it. We're going to talk now to a lot of people are calling up today. 888-720-9677. And as I said before the news, if you want to know how to watch on YouTube, it's a little complicated. I'm holding up a chart right now so that you can see how to watch on YouTube. This just shows you go like that, But see, you can't see the chart because you're not watching on YouTube. All right, let's go to Catherine. Catherine in New London. Hi, Catherine. You've got the floor.
Hi, Colin.
Hi.
First of all, I have to say I'm in bed by 8 o'clock, so I will not be watching live. But besides that, I wanted to clarify for something that it's not an autocracy we're heading towards, it's a theocracy. And I want to discuss the separation of church and state, and in particular, the book that I'm reading, which is absolutely fabulous. Of course, it's by someone called Catherine Stewart, and the title is Money, Lies, and God. And she dedicated herself to learning all about the Christian nationalist movement. And her subhead is Inside the Movement to Destroy American Democracy.
Yeah, we actually did a whole episode on Christian nationalism, and during the campaign, we did a whole episode about Christian nationalism.
Right.
I would say this, though. I think you might be underrating Trump in the sense that, I mean, obviously, he's not a particularly religious person. He couldn't, I think he would have trouble naming more than, say, 3 books of the Bible, and he certainly never looked at any of them. And but I think what he does, one of his gifts, is that he is this screen onto which people can project their hopes and expectations. So, yes, if you're a Christian nationalist, you look at Trump, and somehow or other you see an ally. You see a fellow Christian nationalist. If you're somebody who basically thinks, we should be Moscow West, you look at him and you see that. And if you're somebody who wants lean government and waste and fraud to be eliminated, you look at him and see that. And he's not really plausibly any of these things, and I could say a half a dozen more. But there's something about him that allows people to believe that he's going to do what they want him to do.
Well, exactly. But also, they radicalized the pastors. I had no idea that people were preaching from the pulpit how to vote.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's insane, Colin.
Which they are, I mean, one thing, they can endanger their nonprofit status sometimes by doing that. But other than that, they are free to say
their
what they want.
nonprofit status. Yeah. Thank you. I will follow that up.
Yeah, you can check that out. I don't know exactly what level of political activity you have to be engaging in to endanger your... I don't think saying stuff in a sermon would be enough, but it's not something that I've really interrogated recently. But before you go to bed, before you lay your head down on your pillow at 8 p.m., you should look into this and then get back to us next time we do Ask or Tell Me Anything, which I think will be next Monday. All right, so I can do one more. I'm just going right down here. And here is William in Middletown. Hi, William.
Oh, hi. Excuse me. I have been considering going to your party, and I really want to. I just have to see if I can get a ride.
We should tell you, this is a party to celebrate our 15th anniversary. It's at the Yale Museum of Peabody Yale-ness in New Haven, and there's dinosaurs there. Some of the dinosaurs actually watched or listened to some of our early episodes. And if you're going to do this, William, do it soon, because I was alerted today that tickets are moving faster than we had expected. So,
do you have to do it online, or you can do it by the phone?
What are phones? I don't even know what that is. I think it's I think it's online.
Okay. I'll
go. Let me toggle over to Slack and see if they're telling me anything about that.
Right. So anyway,
yeah.
I hope there's dancing. And the reason I say that is because my daughter's girlfriend, one of her friends, saw that I was feeling rather blue the other day, and she said, "You need to go dancing." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, we're having a small party, and come over and dance." So I'm like, "Oh man, I'm 73. I haven't danced in a long time." But they talked me into it, and I did, and it was amazing. I experienced this rush of endorphins.
Oh yeah, it's totally good for your endorphins. I totally agree. I
it's
do
just-
chair dancing during the show. I guess the YouTube people are going to see this at some point. But I often, if I like the music, I will chair dance. But that doesn't really count as dancing, I don't think. But I agree. No, the party does not have dancing planned. It's a more mingly kind of party. So if you live in Middletown, we'll have Robin, Doy, and Aiken come and get you. I've just made that promise out of the blue. I don't really know that's going to happen. So you should probably make a different plan in case that one doesn't. In case what I just said out of nowhere doesn't pan out. All right. So listen. Did you have one more thing you wanted to say?
No, I just going to say I'll register today. I'll
Yes,
get online,
register today,
and
then you can
do
always
that.
sell your tickets on StubHub, or something. I'm sure there's a huge secondary market for these tickets.
Can you get two at a time?
Yes, you can get two. You can get it two at a time. Mr. Karp informed me that you can't buy more than two at a time. That he may have had some kind of. No, Robin's saying she's going to come get you. All right. So, I have to go anyway. I can't get involved in this. These are the kind of details that I can't get involved in. So we are going to take a little break here. William is going to get a ride from Robin or somebody else. I think it'd probably be fun to get a ride from Robin, but and we will be back after this.
Don't you dare to try. Start releasing that chicken, or you'll get a licking. That chick's too young to fry. Hey boy, better take my word. Here's the reason why. Gotta feed her steady so she'll get ready. That chick's too young to fry.
Support comes from Hartford Stage, presenting Laughs in Spanish, a comedy in English. Part art heist caper, part mother-daughter story, this 90-minute comedy is on stage March 6th through March 30th. Tickets at hartfordstage.org.
That Oval Office meeting between Trump and Vance and Zelensky was like so much these days a bit of a litmus test. Maybe you saw it and you were like, whoa, that's a bit much. Or maybe you saw it and you were like, heck yeah, America first. But if you can't imagine having that last reaction, we're going to at least help you understand it on the next Today Explained.
This afternoon at 3:30.
Get to know life in a big way with The Positive Place. Join Andrew and his friends as they make the most of every day. Inspired by Andrew's real-life adventures, they'll learn about accessibility, teamwork, and determination. Get ready to have a great time, because with a positive outlook, anything is possible. Stream the first 3 episodes now at ctpublic.org/positive.
Support comes from the Narrative Project, which utilizes a proprietary model for anti-racist public relations, offering full-service media management for mission-driven organizations. More at narrative-project.com.
Wrap around my finger, cinnamon ginger. Wrap around my finger, cinnamon ginger.
Dark and lovely, sweet and comely, that's my baby. People, can't you see? Molasses, sugar candy. She's so fine and dandy, that's my baby. She's my cup of tea. When the sun shines.
Some singers are just good. And that's Nina Freeland. She's really more than good. All right, so we're back. We are playing. It's not really a game. Ask or tell me anything. And what you do is you call up and you say something. It's a very simple concept. 888-720-9677. 888-720-WNPR. Let's have Wyatt from Manchester show you how it's done. Hi, Wyatt. You're on the air.
Hey there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you got a left turn coming up, though, so watch out. It's like about 0.3 of a mile you have to turn left.
Yeah, actually a right turn, but thank you, Colin, for the heads up. My eyes were closed. But thanks for listening to me. My question is kind of simple, a bit more lighthearted and strange. So I had always been clued into the whole debate on showering, whether it's a morning or night thing, right? I shower every day, but people have a big debate about whether to do it at the morning or the evening. Now, my girlfriend introduced a whole new wrinkle to this for me that I hadn't really considered. She only showers between 2 and 3 times a week, and says that anything more would, damage her hair and all that. And so I'm just wondering what your opinion of the ideal showering routine is. I have to say it works very well for her. Her skin's very soft. It's you would never know. Like you think, 2 showers a week, that sounds gross, but quite the opposite. She smells fine, is very clean. If she got like in some kind of mess, she would, clean herself up. But just 2 a week.
Does your girlfriend know you're making this call right now? It seems to me you're going into a lot of very personal detail about her.
Yeah, no, she's very public about this. It's it's one of her crusades is that this is all you need.
So I think she's more right than wrong. But I think we also have to kind of unpin 2 concepts. One of them is taking a shower, and the other one is shampooing your hair. And those are not the same thing. And I do believe that most people, and anybody watching on YouTube can see here. Oh, I took my head. Anybody watching on YouTube can see I'm kind of a hair expert.
I'll take your word for it.
No, I just have the worst hair. Thanks so much. I have the worst toupee in public radio. It's worse even than Steve Inskeep's. No, I think it is kind of true that if you shampoo every time you shower, you are just stripping essential oils, things that God put in your hair, you are taking out of your hair. So I think your girlfriend's right about that. And I other than that, I think, it's also some people are just nasty, stinky people who they got to take more showers. And probably they know who they are. But it doesn't sound like your girlfriend's a nasty, stinky person. She seems quite charming. Does she go to bed at 8 o'clock every night? Because she may have called the show a couple of calls ago.
No, no, not at 8 o'clock at night. She's a night owl.
Yeah, more of an 8 a.m. go to bed kind of person. But so I would say yes. But here's the thing, though: your mileage may vary, right? So you could go on your girlfriend's schedule and just stink up the joint, and nobody wants to be in that car with you that you're in right now. And so you have to.
Exactly.
So you have to. It's not one size fits all, is what I'm saying.
I'm inclined to agree. I don't think it would work for me.
Yeah, I had, because I wanted to reverse the aging process, I had mink glands implanted in my armpits, and so as a result, I have to shower more often. It was worth it, though. You just real trouble. Yeah, I just have the glow of youth, though, and it's worth it. It's worth anything I have. It's like The Substance, except that I haven't seen. But I haven't seen the movie The Substance, so it might not be like The Substance. All right, let's go to. Okay, this is an ongoing thing. This is a story arc. That's what we call this. This is a story arc on Ask or Tell Me Anything. Previously on Ask or Tell Me Anything, Dylan called up to talk about pinball, and now he's calling up. It's really confusing now, Dylan, because Dylan Reyes, the maestro, our producer, just went and played. Was it last night you played pinball? He went to the Sanctum last night, and he played pinball. So we have 2. It's really weird. It's like a crossing multiverse thing where you're probably both the same person. Anyway, Dylan from Lisbon, you have the floor.
That's fantastic to hear that part of your team went out to play some pinball. I always love people going out and finding out where there's new locations. I'm calling back because I wanted to make sure that you guys were following up on that, because you had mentioned you enjoyed pinball and you found it interesting when I started to talk about the subject. And I love doing that. I love getting people excited. So I want to mention a couple things. One, there's going to be a convention up in Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's called Pintastic. So everybody out there who's got the slightest bit of interest, consider checking it out. There's going to be dozens of machines on the floor set to free play. And you get a chance to see a variety of different machines. And I think it would be important if you, Colin, took an opportunity to go out and try and find some machines either at the sanctuary, or there's a fantastic place in Providence called Free Play. It's like an old school arcade. There's a cover charge at the door, but then all the machines are free to play. And they've got a beautiful lineup of all these brand new machines that have been produced by Stern. And when I say brand new, I mean they're coming out this year. They've been coming out last year. You've got things like
I'm getting chills right now. I've got the hair stand. You know, the next time you call Dylan, I wonder if you could just put a little animation in your voice, because you have this very flat, affectless way. It's robotic way of talking, and I just like if you could just sort of convey a little bit more emotion when you talk.
Well, I would point you towards my instructional videos where I tried to teach people how to play pinball.
Wait a minute, you have to learn how to play pinball?
You have to learn how to play pinball. One of the very first things people say when I ask them, "Have you played pinball?" They're like, "Yeah, you just move those flippers around to keep the ball up in the air."
So wait a minute, how would we find your videos? What channel would we find you? Do you have a channel or something?
Oh, I put them on YouTube. It's under Caliburn Knight, but I haven't been able to get to them because I had a kid, and it turns out making those videos takes a long, long time, and it really just turns out I really would like talking about pinball more.
Strap the baby to the top of the pinball machine. The baby will be very happy. Lots of noise and light. Babies love that stuff.
She would. She absolutely would. Well, I tell you what, Colin.
Oh, that's right. You had a baby. Who's your wife? Is Stephanie? Is that your wife? Who's your wife? Stephanie?
That is my wife, Stephanie.
Yeah. And she's so unhappy. There's just too many pinball machines.
Oh,
she's probably not even. She probably left you with the baby and started driving. Towards the West Coast, and you haven't even noticed yet because of all the pinball. So you're saying that your video channel is not really up to date?
It's not up to date because like I said, the child has to be the primary focus.
Yeah.
But when you get some free time, you try and spend it on some pinball. And I tell you what, Colin, if you really want to see how animated I am, I would love to give you an instructional breakdown on how to play a pinball machine. You name the place, I'll be there at the time you designate, and I will show you the next level way to play pinball.
I would totally do this, but you frighten me. Anyway, we have to go. We can't talk about pinball all day, although I know you could talk about pinball all day. So let me give out the phone number again. 888-720-9677. 888-720-WNPR. Let me also go over to Slack and see if anybody is objecting to anything that I'm doing right now. I don't think so. It's worth finding out. Let's go over to, we got a special report from Lake Como. Dave, we also have Charlie from Glastonbury, where I'm going to go to Charlie first because I was just in Glastonbury and I'm very excited about it. So, Charlie, you have the floor.
Thank you. First, I wanted to say I went to the Cape last night to see a Jim Messina concert, and it was fabulous.
Was he really good? I mean, everybody feels kind of sorry for him. He got dumped by Kenny and all that stuff, but he's over it.
No,
right?
Don't feel sad for him at all. He's doing terrific. He's got a backup group with him that are just great.
Really? That's really good to hear. I mean, I loved, I'm showing my age, but when, what is it called? Was it called Taking Our Time? The first Loggins and Messina album where they're like playing cards on the cover and stuff. And I got nobody. I don't got nobody but you. So that's how far back I go. So he's happy now.
All right. Well, he played a song from his Poco album.
Ooh, that's right.
He was on Poco.
He's also in Buffalo Springfield for a while. He passed through there.
But now he's morphed into some really great, almost jazz when you hear him play. It's really great.
Sorry, I missed it.
And the Cape's a perfect place to see stuff. Yeah. But that I just wanted to let you know.
That's neither here nor there.
In spite of Trump. And the other thing is, my real question, more of a political question, is I read a great article in the New York Times about proportional representation for the House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. And it's not that hard to do. It just requires a few words to be changed in a few places. And we could increase the size of the House of Representatives to be something meaningful. And, oh, by the way, it would allow the right wings and the left wings that are kind of the extremes to have less representation, because now everybody's vote would count and we could have more parties. And I'd just like to know what you think.
I mean, I think it is absolutely worth considering. I didn't read that particular article. I think all those kinds of things, I mean, a similar thing that's happened in a couple of places is also proportionalizing electoral votes, which is, I think you can do I think it was Maine do it, and maybe part of Nebraska or something. I can't remember, but I think that kind of stuff is good. I think right now, look, my overall thought about this is that we have a constitution that essentially doesn't work very well. It was, made in secret by 55 white men. What could go wrong, really? And so many things. I mean, the Electoral College ultimately exists the way it does, and the Senate exists the way that it does for reasons that were kind of unhealthy and unwholesome even then, and have gotten more so even now. So, yeah, anything that makes it more kind of quote-unquote democratic, I'm in favor of, as long as it's legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that, and thanks for the Jim Messina update. Appreciate that. I'm happy to. I want Jim Messina to be happy. I wake up every day and I tell myself that, and it sounds like he is. It sounds like that's working. Here's Lake Como Dave from beautiful Lake Como, Ohio. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Colin, I'm enjoying this. This looks really cool. Although I have to say, your control room, the array of monitors, are they also doing North American air defense there?
Yeah, no, actually, we're freelance air traffic control now. I mean, they're so understaffed at Reagan National that we are. McPants is in there. He's landed a couple of 747s already today. So yeah, I can't see that. Lake Como Dave is referring to the fact that he is watching the show on YouTube right now. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what goes on in the control room. I come in there after the show. I find dead chipmunks on the floor. I don't know what they do in there. But you do. You can see them now.
Yeah, and actually, I got to tell you, and I'm sure you realize this, you're only a gentle push away from becoming Dan Patrick. All you got to do is surround yourself with about 200, bobbleheads, and then put a big banner, between you and the mic down low in front of your computer, and that's it. But it's very nice.
Nothing against Dan Patrick, but that was not my goal. Nothing against him. If I turned into Dan Patrick, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But, anyway, thank you for all of that. And thank you for that fine report. So Lake Como Dave, what he's doing right now is he's kind of the watcher. He's watching. Because we have to have at least one. We have to have at least one person who's watching this on YouTube, or it just seems like it, won't have been worth it. It won't be worthwhile. All right, so the number to call is 888-720-9677. That's 888-720-WNPR. Actually, I think maybe our WWE show is on Friday. It is, okay. So I misspoke. I've sort of lost track. Okay, so and then Eric in the YouTube comments is asking, why am I not wearing a suit for our inaugural broadcast? Does Colin own a suit? Actually, I do not own a suit. I literally do not. Here's a weird thing, and this is going to sound, Eric, like I'm making it up. But first of all, I wore a tuxedo. I wore a tuxedo yesterday to do the show, even though no one was watching on YouTube because we weren't showing it on YouTube. The only people who could see my tuxedo were the people who work here and the three guests, because we have, Zoom cameras or something. And the reason I did it was because, A, I do own a tuxedo, but I don't own a suit. And also, I'd been to an Oscar party the night before. The tuxedo was just out there. I'm going to have to send it to be dry cleaned anyway. Why not get one more use out of it? But no, I do not own a suit. And I hope this isn't like a kind of Zelensky thing that you're doing right now, because I thought that was kind of unfair as well. But I'm similar to Zelensky. I dress the way I dress out of sympathy for my people. And I don't mean any disrespect for the Colin McEnroe. I actually have some disrespect for the Colin McEnroe show, but I'm not expressing it through the way that I dress. I like this shirt. All right, so we are going to, what should we do? We should... Sounds like we're taking a break.
I'm afraid I don't wanna say goodbye. Oh, but what comes after the setting sun? What if we are all we got? What if no one's there when you need someone just to make you know?
I'm Peter O'Dowd. The new book, Love Queenie, tells the story of film star Merle Oberon. She hid her South Asian background to pass as a white woman in 1930s Hollywood.
there was great danger in her for even being on American soil, so she absolutely had to pass. She didn't have much of a choice.
Next time on Here and Now.
Join us this afternoon at 2.
Warming waters off New England's coast are bringing in new fish and new opportunities for fishermen there. But climate change is happening so fast that regulators and fishermen can't keep up.
My biggest worry is losing the industry. We can't wait a decade because there won't be New England fishing industries left anymore.
That story on All Things Considered from NPR News.
Listen this afternoon at 4. Support comes from the Connecticut Humane Society.
Federal office workers by the thousands, public lands workers, too, are being fired.
I ride out on snowmobiles, I check avalanche reports, I disseminate information to the public, and now I, as a resource to everyone who comes and recreates here, I'm gone.
I'm Kai Risdall. Forest Service firings and those local rural economies next time on Marketplace.
Listen tonight at 6:30.
You have reached your destination.
When I look in the glass, I can see you there, can see you around my eyes. So I follow the stars in the eastern sky, coloring the horizon. With the moon in your teeth, like a piece of cheese, it's crumbling.
That is the Maestro's Choice song of today. It's by Eva O'Donovan. And so the Maestro, Dylan Reyes, picked that out. I did not pick that out. So technically, I don't think it violates the restraining order that Eva O'Donovan got against me. No, I love Eva O'Donovan so much. And I actually, when she sings, I feel like she's singing. I bet you everybody has at least one singer who, if it's just like their voice comes on the radio or on your phone or whatever, unexpectedly, you think that they're singing right to you. And that's how I feel about Eva O'Donovan, although I'm pretty sure it's true that she is singing to me. Anyway, we are going to say thank you to a number of people, starting with Dylan Reyes, the aforementioned Maestro. He's the technical producer. Jonathan McPants is the producer of this episode. Meg Fitz is in there screening calls. I think there's like a bunch of TV people. Bradley's maybe in there, and Megan, and I don't really know who's in there. A whole bunch... A whole bunch of them are in there. We should say, I should have said a long time ago, that if you did want to find us on YouTube, you'd find us at Connecticut Public on YouTube. And you can subscribe to our channel to get notified when we go live. Also, we'll probably try to sell you some complimentary mixed nuts or something. I guess they won't be complimentary if we sell them. All right, so enough babbling. Time to get back to the calls. And the number is 888-720-9677, 888-720-WNPR. Let's go to Nathan in beautiful Old Saybrook, where the Kate is, where Jim Messina was there last night. Nathan probably passed Jim Messina on the street. Anyway, Nathan, you're on the air.
Thank you. I probably did. I'm calling because I promised your call screener I'd call back today with a family story about Robert Frost, if it's not too late to bring him up.
It's never too late for Robert Frost.
Thank you. My mother grew up in Washington, D.C., and she attended the Sidwell Friends School. And one of her classmates invited her home for Christmas one year, and she lived in New England, and her next-door neighbor was Robert Frost. And both of these young schoolgirls sat at his feet by the fire as he read his poetry to them. And I think it was a charming memory of hers.
That is. I mean, that's, you could dine out on that.
He was a nice guy. He was a good neighbor. That's what's important.
They make
good fences. Make good neighbors.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's right. And good neighbors make good fences. It's a reciprocal thing. It's a reciprocal agreement. Well, thanks for calling and sharing that. It's a beautiful story.
My pleasure.
And we had a lot of fun doing that Robert Frost show. It's one of our favorites so far this year. Okay, so let's go to Don in New York City, and then we'll go to Chris in Wethersfield. All right. Here we go with Don. Don has the floor right now. Hi.
Yeah, hi, Colin. Thanks. Two quick things, if I may.
You may.
Both of them cinema related, and one of them actually Hackman related in tribute to him. On yesterday's postmortem of the Oscars, the group found itself talking about "Live and Let Die," and you offered at one point, gee, it's too bad about that song, "The Ever-Changing World in Which We're Living." In which we lived in,
yes,
and how unfortunate it was that they screwed up that prepositional phrase. I used to hear it that way too. Now I really do believe it's the world in which we're living.
Oh, that's very possible. So you're thinking it may be a mondegreen on my part.
A what?
A mondegreen? A mondegreen is when you think that there's a song called "I've Got Two Chickens to Paralyze."
Got it.
Yeah, so that could be. You could be right. I would be the first to apologize, and I would be happy to apologize because that would mean that Sir Paul had not done something foolish. So
exactly,
we will conduct a lengthy. I'll put one of my operatives on this.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Second is French Connection. They take this beautiful Lincoln Continental into the police pound. Popeye says, "I know that car is dirty." They rip it apart. They finally find the heroin, and they say, "Okay, now we got him. Let's just give him the car back and see where they go." And the next thing you see is a pristine, unscathed, good as new Lincoln Continental driving out of a police lot as if nothing ever happened. How did they do it? How did they? I mean, if you look at the scene, you just say, well, that's too much damage for nobody will ever drive that car again.
Right.
And 2 minutes later, they're driving out well,
we don't know it was 2 minutes later. So, I mean, we know how William Friedkin did it. William Friedkin did it by shooting the second scene first.
Yeah. But I'm saying, are we supposed to believe that, Anyway.
I think there has to be a little bit of a suspension of disbelief there, but that somehow or other the police are so good at this because they apparently tear cars apart all the time that they bring in Marco, who's that restoration guy, and says, it's got to look like we didn't do that, so you know what to do. But it's a fair question. It's a fair question. I don't think, you should get bogged down in it, If it's like waking you up at night or something, I don't think that's good.
No, the film is way too good.
Yeah, I mean, in this ever-changing world in which we live in, there is so much more that you need to think about besides Gene Hackman and that car. All right, so here's Chris. Chris is in Wethersfield. Once again, the number 888-720-9677, a.k.a. 888-720-WNPR. Hi, Chris.
Hi. I'm interested in your opinion of the what I've heard. These are the notes I took. It was a spat, a contentious meeting, a strong leadership, fiery exchange. I kind of saw it as a hissy fit. Kind of reminded me that when Nancy Pelosi had said that she blew up in a meeting, and she says, "I have 5 grandchildren, and I know a temper tantrum when I see one." So you have a lot of experience. How did you see it?
Well, I mean, so the question that you're asking, I think, is one that people are pondering, and people of good faith and intellect can differ about this. I mean, the two possibilities are this was an ambush. It was always going to happen. And there's some things to support that, including Lindsey Graham, I think, before this meeting saying something about how Zelensky shouldn't take the bait. Well, how would he know that there was going to be bait to take? But the theory that you subscribe to, and I think I do too. I mean, I haven't turned this into the Zapruder tape. I haven't really gone over and over it, but it seemed as though what happened was that Trump and Zelensky kind of finished up something, and then J.D. Vance asked that rather impertinent question, and that's what seemed to sort of fire things off. So, either this was a carefully orchestrated ambush that was always going to happen, or something triggered Trump, and then he's just started saying the kind of stuff that he said. And the argument, I think, for the second view, the view that I think you have, the Nancy Pelosi grandchild view, is that at a certain point he also just starts saying really lots of weird stuff that doesn't have much to do. I mean, I can't believe anybody who planned this said, "Oh, you should say that Putin and I have been through a lot together, with Russiagate and all this stuff," and then start talking about Hunter Biden and all this stuff. I mean, he just sort of went on a conspiracy, a Charlie Parker solo or something. He was just bringing all kinds of stuff in there. So, I mean, that's the argument that he just kind of lost it. I don't know if we will ever know the answer to that. And I'm not even sure that it matters that much. But it seems more Trump-like that something happened, he got triggered. Because what was happening there, it's called a pool spray. Typically what happens is if you have something important happening in the Oval Office or in the White House, you let pool cameras come in and reporters, and maybe they shout a couple of questions, take a whole bunch of pictures, clickety, 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 click, and then they shoo them out. And they just let them stay in there for that whole time. And some of that is just because Trump likes being on camera. I think he finds it very boring to negotiate with a foreign leader if there's nobody watching. He wants people to look at him do stuff. So, that's the argument for it being an ambush, though. It's like, why are these cameras still there to even record all this stuff? Well, maybe because he gets bored if he doesn't have an audience. I tend to lean towards the idea that this was just him kind of losing his stuff. So I'm with you on this, Chris.
Okay, well, I appreciate hearing your perspective.
Yeah, I don't know what good it does either of us, but, we at least have come to some kind of resting point here. All right, so we are doing Ask or Tell Me Anything. We have just a few minutes left in the show, and we'll go to Hiram and then to Dennis, and then who knows what will happen after that. But here is Hiram in Hartford. Hi, Hiram.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, you know that Trump just mentioned that English is going to be the official language. I think he meant to say that the Russian is going to be the new official language of the United States.
Well,
he kicked the Associated Press out of the briefing room.
Yep.
And now somehow the state media of Russia was able to get in.
Yeah, TASS. I mean, it was so throwback. It was so throwback that, I didn't even think TASS was around. TASS has been around 100 years. And TASS, somebody from TASS somehow or other was able to get into and then there was this explanation. We didn't know he was here. That was the White House explanation. We didn't know. Well, how? Yeah. How can that be? How can it be that somebody from a state-run Russian Press Association is in your event, within more or less arm's reach of the President of the United States, and you're completely unaware that they're there? Yeah.
I think that tonight, don't be surprised if tonight he mentioned that the official language of the United States would be Russian.
All right. Well, das vidanya. And we're going to go over to Dennis in possibly Bethany near Naugatuck. Is that what it says here? Okay. Hi, Dennis.
Oh, good afternoon, Colin. How are you?
I am just fine.
Good to hear. I have a question. I'm coming to the end of my professional working career, and I'm considering what my next steps are going to be. And I've always had an inkling about public service, and I think you've been an experienced observer of the Connecticut, public service scene. And I was wondering if I'd ask you a question about it, if you wouldn't mind me picking your brain for a minute.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
All right, good. Which aspect of bad behavior do you think I should focus on in order to get into, the game right away and try and get to the top?
Tell me a little bit more about this. This sounds like kind of a trick or a joke question, but tell me.
My tongue is in my cheek because I've basically been watching over the past few months. It looks like, in order to get in to have any success, you have to either drink heavily or deny things or commit white collar crime, or there are so many things to choose from. So I was wondering if what you
I would
felt
say,
would be
drinking heavily. You can be Secretary of State, obviously. Secretary of Defense, quite obviously, if you drink heavily. So there's some real upward mobility there. The white collar crime. I don't know. It's hard to choose. The problem with drinking heavily is it affects the rest of your life. It doesn't. Gotcha. It doesn't just improve your chances of becoming Secretary of Defense. It hurts your liver. It wrecks your marriage. All this kind of. I would say white collar crime, and burying gold in the backyard and stuff. That kind of stuff. That's good. In fact, you should buy some. You should have bought some gold yesterday. Actually, is what you should have done, because obviously the stock market is crashing now. We all should have bought gold yesterday. It turns out that was true. All right, I'm thinking I dare not. Sherry is calling up right now. I would love to take her call. I see Ellen is maybe trying to get on the air here. I feel like we're sort of out of time right now. So we're going to do lots of exciting and fun shows for the rest of the week. I've kind of forgotten what they are. And also, my finger is stuck in the water bottle here. Okay, now I think I can tell you that. So Friday is definitely WWE. Oh, the Common Sense Show. We're doing a show on Thursday about what is common sense, because Trump in particular is constantly invoking, well, that's just common sense. So what does that term mean? How does something get to be common sense? Well, tune in and find out.